What's going on, everyone? It's time for another horror film review. This film is called The Dream House. It's really sometime in 23 and it's directed by Candace Cook, who actually did a whole pile of Christmas movies instead before this, like Ivy and Mistletoe, Joy and Hope, Deck the Heart, and Baking Up Love. So this is marketed as a horror film. This is just a pile of trash. It's not even close. So this is a film about a young couple wins a new house at an auction. So they move in and they uncover a darker secret, that an evil that lies in where people don't really believe them, but they have to live and cope with it. Overall, this film is pretty bad. First off, the good stuff. The cinematography is actually pretty good in this, and the lighting. The music's pretty shit though. It doesn't really do anything, and it's just stale. And yeah, acting wise, this couple is not believable at all. I could not believe. I'm like, this is not a couple. Then I found out they're a couple in real life. Makes no sense. Yeah, whatever. Acting wise, pretty terrible. The acting in this is probably some of the worst acting I've seen this year. And yeah, it's very wooden, very forced, and with all people involved. And there wasn't really one standout good actor in this movie. It's pretty forced and pretty evident that you can see that. The story itself and the characters are pretty dull. It's pretty bleak, and obviously you can tell it's made by someone who never really done something like this before, is trying something new, which is good. But the way they did it, they went about the same way of making a Hallmark Christmas love movie instead of actually trying to make it dark and creepy and stuff. So it comes off as just cheesy hokiness. This looks like a Goosebumps episode from the old 90s TV show. This was made like last year, and yeah, it was pretty dull and depressing. The story itself is pretty lame, and the characters are super dull, and that with terrible acting. This was a chore to get through. But the effects, let's talk about the effects. It was awful. There was nothing really to say about it. It's people in white face paint from Spirit of Halloween walking around, and they pretend to be some of the characters that are already in there and stuff. It was just a mess. Overall, I really hated this movie. There wasn't really any good, dark, scary moments. The characters and story were completely bland. I kind of zoned out a couple times. I'm pretty sure I fell asleep a couple times. And overall, I just thought this was just a boring mess. So, but if it sounds like something you want to check out, because I wouldn't say this is so bad it's good. This is just bad. But it is on Tubi, so you watch it for free. So I'll link it down below. But I'm going to give A Dream House a 1 out of 5. Only because it had decent cinematography that looked like someone was actually trying to care. So, yeah. But other than that, it's pretty bad. So, yeah. But, yeah, it's on Tubi, so I'll link it down below. But also make sure you check out my Instagram. That's linked down below. So I post clips of films I'm going to review in the future on my stories. You put the film title in there, and some fun factor history thing in there as well. Also, my Letterbox down below, direct reviews, such as for star rating after watching the films, and my Twitter's down below, reviews _ Eric. So follow me on those platforms and loop this channel. Like this video, share it so more people aware of it. Comment your opinions of the film down below if you have any. If you have any films or film franchises in any genre and on any streaming service that you want to hear my opinions on in the future, comment those down below too. I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. Make sure you subscribe. If you find something weird, obscure, and all day, probably never thought checking out together, and also share my opinions on popular films that have come out, classic films, and reviews on other things as well. And don't forget to ring that bell, because we're going to do a creature feature. We're actually going to do a Christmas shark movie in the next review, Santa Jaws. So hopefully that one's good. So make sure you tune in for that. And yeah, watch out for haunted houses that you buy, and terrible horror films made by people who make holiday movies instead, and that which they should just stick doing. And I guess I'll see you all in the next one. So until then, cheers.